I call on James Evans to reply to the debate.
Diolch, Deputy Presiding Officer, and I first would like to thank and pay tribute to Julie Morgan for bringing this crucial debate forward to the Senate today and for her insightful contributions. I know Julie was a champion of this both when she was in government and also when she was in Westminster as well, and I want to pay true homage to Julie for all the work she's done on this issue over their time. I want to talk the reason why I support this motion today. We all get into politics for certain reasons. I'll try not to get emotional. We all enter politics for certain reasons. I got into politics because I gave my grandmother a promise that I would never let anybody go through what she went through at the end of her life. Never. My grandmother had really bad dementia, and my grandmother and grandfather discussed her care. And they decided between them that if anything bad happened, that my grandfather would make the decision that my nan would not suffer. My nan had a really bad stroke. It left her incapacitated. She couldn't talk, couldn't open her eyes, but she was still alive. She had no life or quality of life. The doctors told my grandfather they could keep my grandmother alive by introducing a feed peg into her stomach. My grandfather took the decision, based on the conversations he had with my grandmother, that he wouldn't do that to her. He decided that she should have the option to end her life naturally. The hospital came to my grandfather and said, if you do this, we're going to have you done for manslaughter. My grandfather regretted that decision that he had to make then to extend my nan's life for the rest of his days. I made a promise to both of them. I would never let anybody suffer like that again. And that's why I support this today. As Julia said, 31 countries across the world have brought this in. It's because of compassion. It's because of care. Adam Price talked about compassion and care and putting the safeguards in place to look after people. That's why we're doing this. This is why this has to come forward. We owe people their right to make their own decisions. People can make decisions about their lives on a daily basis, how they choose to live it, who they choose to love, who they even vote for. But we're not giving people that right at the end of their life to make a choice about whether they wish to end their life in dignity or in pain. Some people may decide they don't want to choose the assisted dying route. They'll go down the palliative care option. It's so important that we do fund our palliative care properly. But we have to give people the right to choose. Yeah, I'll take an intervention, Darren.
Thanks, James. Thanks for sharing the family story that you have. I know that that's a difficult thing for you to share, and I appreciate you giving us that insight into your own experience. I think one of the challenges here is, we assume that a lot of the discussion and debate around this issue is because of pain towards the end of life. One thing that we do know from the Oregon experience is that only 28% of people who choose to end their life via assisted suicide cite pain as a reason, or future pain as a reason. Only 28%. Don't you find that an extraordinary statistic? And given that we're all wanting to be here today supporting the need to alleviate suffering, wouldn't it be better to be able to continue to support the existing law, which allows the withdrawal of treatment, but it doesn't allow the deliberate ending of a human life?
The problem we see is that withdrawal of treatment is given when people have reached the end, after they've gone through immeasurable suffering. And it should be that person's right. That person's right to choose. It's not policymakers' right to choose. We should enable people to make their own decisions. We do that on a daily basis, and we should be doing that more. Now, we talk about compassion. Julie Morgan mentioned that one in eight who go into Dignitas. That's people who feel they have no other option in this country. And that's only for people who can afford it. There are people who are suffering because they can't afford to go there. Is that right? I don't think it is. I don't think it's right for anybody. And I do understand there are concerns around safeguarding. I really do understand that, and I recognise that myself. But if we took the view on any piece of legislation or law that it's a slippery slope or the safeguards are in place, we would never legislate for anything. There's always going to be pitfalls, and that's why we legislate. That's why we have scrutiny, is to go through a process to get to the right outcome in the end. We can't dismiss something because it's at an initial stage. That just isn't right. If we did that, we'd never achieve anything. We'd be in inept parliament, never deliver anything for the people we represent. But I talked about palliative care earlier, and I think this is an area where I think government, all governments of all colours, that's in Westminster, Scotland, here in Wales, all need to step up and do more. We need more money in our palliative care. Palliative care is mainly funded by charitable donations. And if we don't have charitable donations, that palliative care treatment isn't going to be there. And as Julie did say, in some countries, they've actually more money invested in palliative care since this law has been introduced. And I think these debates put a focus on end of life. It's not something, as British people, Welsh people, we like to talk about a great deal, but people need to die in dignity and respect. And I think however people choose to end their lives, whether that's through palliative care or through assisted dying, we have the right to make sure that's in place. I talked about my personal story, but I do just want to mention something that someone asked me to raise specifically in closing this debate today. And they had put permission off their wife before she passed away to do this. He said, I watched my wife starve to death because she did not want to see her husband prosecuted if they went to Dignitas. She suffered for about a whole week, starving herself, not drinking, because she wanted to end her life. There's nothing religiously moral about that. That's suffering. And I'm sorry, I don't prescribe to the fact that, yes, all life is sacred, we have to understand that, but people have the right to choose. No one should have to end their life in that way. No one should have to end their life that way. And anybody who thinks they should end their life that way, shame on you. Shame on you. I know I haven't got much time, Deputy Presiding Officer, but there has been a shift in attitude in this sphere. I want to commend people like Dame Esther Ranson and organisations like My Death, My Decision. They've been tireless in championing these causes, tireless, against some quite vicious attacks on them, saying that they're assisting people dying or they're killing people. They're not killing people. It's just not the way we do things. We're giving people that opportunity, the opportunity to choose. I know I'm out of time, but I will finish in conclusion. I do think, with robust safeguards in place, we do need to proceed with caution, but that's the way the parliamentary process works. If we are given this option to do this, I think we should do it. And I say to members who are uncertain about this vote today, or not sure which way they want to vote, there was an exceptionally brave lady on the weekend on Politics Wales suffering with motor neurons disease. And I commend those people who speak out. And she said to all those people who are opposed to this legislation, walk in my body. Walk in my body. And I ask all those members who are here, don't think about yourselves. Think about those people who are suffering. As I've said, it's not our job to deny those people their right to choose. Walk in their body. Think about them as you cast your vote today. Diolch, Deputy.